Hey folks, welcome to Tutorial Tuesday. Last week we broke down a few seated postures, and for this week I thought we would do some standing postures. Keeping it real basic, some foundational poses. We'll be starting with Tadasana mountain pose. You see Tadasana in just about every yoga class, unless it's a yin or restorative class, which are mostly on the mat. Most classes with standing postures will feature some Tadasana mountain pose, so it's a good one to know. So we'll start to build it from the bottom up, from the feet on up. So go ahead and bring your big toes to touch. And I forgot to mention, you don't really need a yoga mat, but if you want to use one, by all means, please use one. So with the big toes touching, you'll have a small space in between the heels, a little gap. Now, from here, go ahead and lift all 10 toes up off the mat. And for me, when I do that, I start to feel the arches of my feet and my ankles sort of fire up. So go ahead and lift and lower the toes a few times and notice what you feel when you do that. Now go ahead and lift them up, leave them lifted, and tap into that sensation. So the arches are lifting, so sort of like your feet are starting to suction onto the earth, and the ankles are waking up. So we're bringing this activation up into the legs from the feet. Now go ahead and spread the toes wide, and keeping all of that activation in the feet, lower the toes back onto the earth. So you're maintaining this like suction action on the mat. Now we'll continue building upward. Go ahead and pull the kneecaps up towards the hip points. So starting to wake up into the quadriceps. So we've activated the lower legs here. Now we'll start to activate the upper legs by pulling the kneecaps up towards the hip points. And then you also want to bring an activation to the inner thighs. So imagine there's a block in between the thighs. And actually, if you have a block, use it. You could also use a book in between the thighs for this. So placing the block in between the thighs, you want to emulate like a Pez dispenser, if you're familiar with those. So if I turn over to the side, we'll see if you can see it. I don't know if you can see the block sort of shifting back a little bit. So moving towards like out behind me. So that's kind of what you're trying to wake up here. So turning on the inner thighs, it's a little bit of an inward rotation, kind of like you're trying to squeeze that Pez piece out behind you. All right, enough of that. You can always play with that later. So turning it all on from the bottom up, feet active, the ankles, arches of the feet, the kneecaps pull up, thighs activate, and now we're coming into the pelvis and the torso. So for now, I'd like you to let it just hang loose for a minute. So let the ribs splay out, let the booty pop back. Yeah, and now we're going to do the opposite. So you're going to imagine a really big zipper that extends from your groin all the way up to the belly button. So imagine pulling the pubic bone up to the navel. So just zipping up here. Yeah. And then, so you've got your big zipper on, and then you're also going to put this corset on that's going to hug the floating ribs in. Beautiful. Now from here, go ahead and lift the shoulders way up by the ears and then roll them back and down. And now what tends to happen when we do this is we start to find this beautiful opening in the chest, and then the ribs are like, yes, me too. But no, the ribs, we want to keep that corset on. So we want opening in the chest without the splaying of the ribs. So pubic bone stays pulling towards the navel, the ribs stay in while the shoulders pull back and down. And then from here, you want the chin parallel with the earth. So not lifting the gaze, not lowering the gaze, staying nice and even, parallel to the earth. This is your Tadasana mountain pose. So even though it looks like we're just standing, there's quite a lot happening in the body. So moving on from Tadasana, we'll go ahead and build on Tadasana, coming into Urdhva Hastasana, which is upward salute. And so what we're building here is the beginnings of sun salutations, and you'll start to see that come together, I think. So for Urdhva Hastasana, the transition here is pretty simple. Everything is going to stay the same except for the arms. The arms are going to lift up by the ears. This is your Urdhva Hastasana. So it's exactly the same as Tadasana mountain pose, but with the arms lifted. Now when we lift the arms, we're looking for this sort of internal rotation of the arms. So you should feel the lats start to fire up here, because that's where the movement is coming from. It's sort of like you want to turn the pinky side edges of the hand inwards. And sometimes you'll see Urdhva Hastasana with the palms together, which is an option if the shoulders are open and you have that mobility, but totally okay to leave the hands separate at shoulder width distance as well. So that's our Urdhva Hastasana. So from here, we're coming to Uttanasana, which is standing forward fold. So again, seeing the building blocks of sun salutation building here. Now to come from Urdhva Hastasana into Uttanasana, we want to hinge from the hips. So if you think about the hinge of a door, that hinge is located right here at the hips, not at the waist. So as we start to fold forward, feel free to bring it bend into the knees, a gentle bend here, and we're going to lead with the chest. So the chest wants to go forward and then down as we start to lower with a flat back. So the back remains flat the entire time we're folding down, bringing us all the way down to the earth. Once we get down, releasing the head, so the crown of the head is now pointing straight down towards the earth. This is your Uttanasana, standing forward fold. And always, always feel free to bring a bend into the knees. As big a bend, as small a bend, as feels comfortable for you. This is your Uttanasana, forward fold. And if the earth is like forever away, please feel free to bring a block underneath you as you work towards it. You can be at any height as you work on the flexibility, openness of the hamstrings and the calves. So this is Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Let's do one more pose for today, which is Ardha Uttanasana. Ardha means half in Sanskrit. So Ardha Uttanasana is your half forward fold. So for Ardha Uttanasana, you're going to come from your forward fold here, bring hands onto the shins, and you're going to, on an inhale, lift halfway. So nice, long, straight back. If you feel any rounding, feel free to bring a bend into the knees as much as you need so that you can maintain a nice long back. This is just one option for the hands, bringing them to the shins. If your hamstrings and your calves are more open, you can leave the hands on the earth as you lift halfway here, and you want the crown of the head pointing straight forward. This is your Ardha Uttanasana. So those are four standing postures. And this sequence of them, from Tadasana, Urdhva Hastasana, Uttanasana, Ardha Uttanasana, we see that in sun salutations in Surya Namaskar A. A little bit down the road, when we've covered all the postures necessary, we'll do a whole tutorial on Surya Namaskar A. But these are some of the building blocks for that. So I hope this has been useful. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about any of these poses, please do not hesitate to post them down below. And if you have any requests for future posture breakdowns, please don't hesitate to request those. Have yourself a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.